I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Eddie, and he's a neuron. Pretty much like us, he has to breathe in order to be active. Neurons get oxygen from the blood, and we can use this information to measure how much they work, how much they connect, and how much they exchange information with other neurons like them. We call this brain activity. But the quantity of oxygen in your blood always changes. One breath and you have more oxygen. One heartbeat and it flows away faster. My research is about understanding how your heartbeat or your breathing, what we call physiological activity, changes the way we measure your brain. Our brain is made of billions of neurons, and the way they connect to each other is unique to each one of us. It's so personal that if I know how your brain activity is while you're doing some tasks, such as listening or watching a video or sleeping, I can then recognize your brain, no matter what else you do, between all the other brain in these words. And I can do that pretty much 4 times out of 5, which is basically how using a fingerprint to recognize yourself. Now, we know that breathing and heart beating is unique as well to you, but we don't know how much your uniqueness comes from your neuron activity, from your brain, or from the content of oxygen in your lungs. I'm going to ask 10 people to do some tasks multiple times while I measure their brain activity and their physiological activity. And I'm going to use that information to understand what of them comes from their neurons and what from something else. And you might think that this is not really interesting, but I want to consider one thing. Imagine that you're sick, and in order to get better, I have to give you 2 drops of medicine in one specific place that is unique to you. The problem is that I don't know you very well, and I don't know where that place is, because I know where something similar is in the rest of the population. So what I do now, what medical treatment does now, is to basically take a bucket of medicine and throw it at you. Now, you might see how that might get discomforting. You might see how that is expensive and wasteful. And maybe it's not that effective either. By knowing you better, by knowing what of you makes really you, we can give you personal health care, which would be less expensive, more effective, and also a bit less wasteful. My research gives the tool to other researchers to do exactly that. But in order to do it, we first have to go back to Eddie and understand how his environment and how him breathing changes the way we see him and the way he connects to other neurons to make you the unique person you are.